Welcome to the fresh and vibrant airwaves of the Pride and Promotion podcast. Strap in and turn up the volume because you've landed on the podcast that's setting the bar for the most dynamic and inclusive marketing conversations. Join your host, Joseph Federico, as he prepares to dive into the world of marketing with an inclusive twist where we spotlight the LGBT community and celebrate the power of diversity. Get ready to be motivated as we bring in some of the most influential LGBT entrepreneurs and marketing trailblazers who are reshaping the.
Everybody, welcome to another amazing episode of the Pride and Promotion podcast. I'm your host, Joe Federico, and today we have a very special guest, Deana. She is the mastermind, the CEO, head you-know-what in charge, CMO, again, mastermind of Rock Bottom clothing line. Deana, welcome to Pride and Promotion. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And I know who you are. I've known you for almost 18 years.
A long time.
A long time, almost 2 lifetimes. But tell everybody, who you are, where you come from, and what drove you to start your own fashion line. We'll start with that.
So I have always been creative and always playtime was always a thing for me when I was little. I had tons of cousins and we always were outside being creative. And as I got older, fashion kind of found me and I just put my creativity into creating clothing. And from there, I went to FIT. I actually went to FIT when I was in high school taking classes. And I just kept following, my path that I really didn't choose, kind of chose me. And, I came from hardworking immigrant grandparents, so I know what it's like to work for things. And I am so up to working for what I want to get.
And that's how you have to do it these days, right?
Yes, nothing's handed to you, and I am ready to, push Rock Bottom as far as it will go.
And rise up, right?
Yes, and rise up to new heights.
New heights and empower women, empower yourself.
Yeah. Yes, Rock Bottom is definitely an empowering clothing line. We want you to put on a skirt and rock it with anything you do in your life.
Literally rock the heck out of it, right?
Rock
so
it.
we're gonna throw a bit of a curveball, not the rapid fire ranch, but I wanted to start with guerrilla marketing, right? And print advertising and marketing. I know that you have an article coming out soon about yourself and the business, and a big congratulations to you.
Thank you.
For that. That's exciting. I don't want to spill too much.
And thanks to my writer.
Oh, but you know what? That is full circle. That's the organic part of marketing, is getting the word out, being your own publicist, working with other professionals locally that can assist you, right?
Yeah, and this article really goes back to my childhood with what I touched on growing up and going to FIT and just kind of taking it from there. And just after I graduated FIT, just learning whatever I could learn to get to this point.
Yeah. And to celebrate your future at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. This is just the beginning.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
To be honest. Right. And we've been working together for a few years on your social media, growing the reels, training you, working in person, even being a model. And I'm so honored that I'm part of seeing you from the ground up with all the social media just explosion all of a sudden.
We are definitely starting from the ground up. And that's really the only way to start.
It is.
And we're rising up slowly, but we're getting there.
But, unmatched, because not only your messaging, because although J Federico Marketing does assist, you had a vision for, we literally went to Starbucks, literally, during the pandemic. We had just gotten our, the shots, and we were having coffee, and we were like, where do we begin? And we started. So you know what? I'm going to pause the article part of the conversation for a moment. Let's start with being human. How did you begin to formulate your persona and your brand because of your clothing line?
I think during the pandemic, nobody really knew what was going to happen and what was going to go on. And that's when I started to think about it. And I said the world has, hit rock bottom. And it kind of was a play on words that I just took. I looked at what things that I've drawn, I've sewn, and I realized, well, I had a lot of bottoms. So it kind of came together in that way. And then I
Mhm.
was like, well, let's play on the words rock and roll. Like, what fashion and music go together in such a big way. So it's just kind of mending the two, putting the two together. And I kind of just went with the theme. I really didn't even think like I'm going to put this rock and roll. It kind of just as it went along, I was like, okay, it's rock and roll. And, you know, that rock star that wants to get out there and wants to, take control of their life
Yeah.
and do what they
And
want to do with their life.
then sharing it with the rest of the world at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. And hopefully it inspires a lot of people to say, you know what, this is what I want and I'm going to go get it.
So talk about the collaboration, not only with me, but people that you're working with in the city, people that, you send the orders to, people that you even know locally. How do you feel that the guerrilla marketing tactics work versus just putting your stuff on social media? So explain that more to us a little bit.
Well, I think for mine, my line really is a tough New York City girl type of line.
Mhm.
And really, I went to like the best of whoever I knew to create this line of skirts. And just by wearing them, we're focusing on one piece that you're wearing, and it really is the main focus. We want everybody to focus on the skirt on the bottom. So when you see the social media, it's really focusing on getting just the bottom out there.
Mhm.
Because you put on your pants, you put on your skirt first, and then from there you're gonna rise up, put your shirt on, and go out there, and hopefully you'll be seen by a lot of people on the street.
And then
And
spreading that message of,
spreading that message of go out there, get what you want. You're the creator of your own life and your outfit.
mhm, that's
Put that skirt on and build it up. Do what you
yep,
want with it.
exactly. How do you feel collaborating with people while you're recording content? Let's also jump to that. How do you feel when you're putting on your own products, right? Your own pieces, your pants and the skirts and the canvas tote bags, and you're recording content with me, for instance, in person. What's going through your mind? I know that we have fun, we go for coffee, we celebrate, we work our tails off, but as the individual, as the building your persona over time, how do you feel during those meetings?
I feel great with it. I think it's great because again, we're focusing on like one piece of clothing, like one garment type, like the bottom. So I know when I put the skirts on, and I do so many different, like I try them on and I put mixed so many different tops with them. So they empower me because I know when I go out there in one of those skirts, like not only did I create it, but it's gonna, hopefully it inspires someone else to go out
Mhm.
there, get a skirt, you put it on, and you be the creator again of the outfit and creator of your own life, of your life. So they are statement pieces and they make me feel empowered. And when we put it out there, sometimes we only do the bottom, but that is the purpose and the point of it, just to see the
Right.
bottom of it.
What is going through your mind when you're at work and you come home after a long day and you're not in your pieces versus when you're recording content and you have to be on camera, on being the creative director, on following direction to build your brand going forward? Can you walk us through kind of your creative process when you put the skirt on and you go to a location to shoot? What's running through your mind at that point?
Just that as many people as possible will see the content and see the skirts.
Mhm.
But even if I don't wear it, just to have this brand and to know like what it's capable of and how it's capable of empowering so many people is just uplifting by itself.
Hmm.
Just,
Hmm.
even for like we have younger kids, even to see like the little girls in dance, like the little dance skirts
Hmm.
is empowering, because it starts when you're young to empower any woman.
Did you think when you started that you would be at this point, not only from a professional standpoint, but also having a brand on social media?
Um, you know what? When I started, I just kind of like went with it. I remember it was like somebody helped me with the name, and I was just like, Rock Bottom, and I just randomly spelt it different. I
Hmm.
was like, oh, this is going to be the name. And really going back for years and years, I always was going to mend to like put together two last names, like my mom's last name and my last name now. And that kind of just was like, I guess the universe was like, no, we're not doing that.
Hmm.
So I kind of just
No.
came up with Rock Bottoms and let it flow. I think it's been a journey so far, and I know that there's so much more that we have to accomplish and we're going to accomplish. But I mean, to look at how it's grown, we only had a few skirts at first, and now we have like our skirts are all elastic bands, so they really can fit anyone and be dressed up or down. And there's just so much more that we're going to accomplish, and so much more that I have plans for the line. So it's been a journey, and I'm proud of where we are right now.
So proud of you. I got to
Thank
stop and
you.
say I'm not just blowing smoke because you're my client, you're my friend for almost 20 years, and we partied together at Montclair State, and we are different people at this
Yeah, and
point.
I remember I was dressed as Jersey Trash, and I said I was the only one that could dress as Jersey Trash because I am from New Jersey, so I can be Jersey Trash.
Own it, right? That was a persona in and of itself. Way before
Yeah,
social media was really a thing. It was just Facebook,
it
right? And there
was,
was
yeah.
no sign of a skirt. I mean, it's
No,
probably deep inside you growing, but you didn't know back
no,
then.
nope.
No, and I didn't even know that I was going to be running a podcast, or even working on marketing or assisting
Yeah,
you, which
it's
is
amazing what can
a
happen.
beautiful marriage,
Yeah,
right? But going back to that, there, as I had said, there was no social media.
no,
It was uploading an album to your Facebook through your Kodak Moments or something like that, right? Number one.
yeah.
Number two, if you were let's kind of flip the switch on this a little bit. If you were to launch the clothing line back then, 2008, 2010 ish, how do you feel that you would have marketed your skirt without the use of social media?
Oh, things were so different back then. You really would have to be more on like literally door to door boutiques, like everything like that. Buyers, you'd have to find them. It's extremely different. It was now than it was then. Now anything you want is at your fingertips. And what I've seen on Instagram and other social medias for, retail or really any market, there is a market for anything and everything.
Hmm. I think if we were to partner up or partnered up back then,
Yeah.
again, 18, 19, not that, we look fabulous, even more fabulous now than we did, but you say so myself, right?
We do look fabulous.
You do, right? But I'm going to put us in the position of that time. I think we would have had to utilize or assist you in utilizing maybe MySpace and creating a page just for
Oh,
that.
I completely forgot about that. Right. Yeah.
And most of us have forgotten about
Yeah.
MySpace.
Yeah.
Remember when Tom was your first friend and he invited other friends? And he was really cute, by the way.
Exactly.
I wish he was real, right?
Exactly.
But you had to have promoted yourself in a completely different way than you do now.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So maybe start with a MySpace page. Maybe
Yeah.
run certainly the guerrilla marketing tactics in which we talked about in another episode, but also as we are now. Maybe creating stickers, maybe pop-up fashion shows, right? Um, the the other boutiques, maybe in Manhattan, in New
It
Jersey, maybe locally,
it
maybe in
definitely
the
would have
street.
been more like hands-on and like, like more work, more actual like physical get out there work.
Actually rolling up your sleeves and marketing the
Yeah.
heck out of yourself in person, word of
Mhm.
mouth, door to door, right? Selling
Right.
maybe coupons or sending them out in mailers. It was a completely different world 20 years ago, and that's crazy to think about.
It's really crazy how things have changed. Yeah.
But more so to the point, when we started this conversation, again, with your upcoming article in the newspaper, we would have had to have done that probably threefold, have done a lot more of that PR, the public relations, writing, the articles to get the word out 9, 10, 11 times before somebody
Absolutely.
probably started to purchase your skirts.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely would have been more door to door, you know, oh, here are my skirts. Can you want to sell them? Yeah, definitely.
Crazy to think about. And then hire a
Yeah.
sales team, right? Paying a
Yeah.
staff. 20 years ago but there have been a lot of advances in social media and marketing, and even the guerrilla marketing tactics in which we use even for your brand today.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about social media? Let's get to the real nitty gritty of, I know we had many meetings and we have meetings almost once a week, but how do you as a business owner feel about having a social media marketer, kind of be your person that you bounce off your vision
I
and bring it to fruition?
I really think that today, if you don't have social media and you have a business, it's tough. I don't know how anybody could do it today because you really get up like I feel like my Instagram has like a persona and it has a persona of a rock star, rock and roll, like toughness, like you could do this. I can't imagine not having that and just being like, well, rock bottoms. Okay, well, what is it? Like today, you could see what it is. You could go on Instagram and you see,
Right.
like, okay, this is okay, I get it. It's bottoms, like, rock and roll, it's music. I get, like you can see the brand's like persona today.
You know what you're getting once you log on to the app.
Yeah, yeah, you can see, okay, this is what rock bottom is.
How do you name your skirts? Because I know that helps a marketer like myself come up with the content. What kind of music are we going to use on the reels? What kind of copy are we going to utilize through AI, but also through my creative team? So where do the names come from for your skirts, and just give us some examples?
So it's like you went to a concert and you see the groupies, you see the rock star, you see the VIP. It's like you're literally at a rocket, like a concert, and you see all these people. So we
Mm-hmm.
have the groupie, and then you have a lady, and she's rocking. So we have a lady rocker. I'm probably gonna run out of names at a concert, like with things at a concert. So we're probably gonna have to move on soon and find a new bunch of names or
I won't
something.
let that happen. We're going to get a meeting of the minds together. We're going to talk
Yeah,
about what
because
personas that
I'm running out. I hit the groupie, the
never
rock
going to.
star, the lady rocker, the VIP, the encore. So I'm kind of like at a point like, okay, we're done with the rock, we're done with the concert. So,
Right.
but that's how I started. And I want it all in theme. I also have the riser, which really doesn't have anything to do with a concert. It's you rising up. So that's where the riser came from. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll do in the future, maybe more like inspirational names or like a play on famous songs, names.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, to be catchy and to stick with that. Oh, I get it. The VIP at a concert, the encore.
But as we're building our persona, I remember again years ago sitting literally in the middle of COVID at a Starbucks, brainstorming taglines, what the website will look like, right?
Yes.
What kind of blogs, and I'll get to that in a moment, of how the evolution of your content, kind of, grew up, right?
Yeah.
Rose up, not from the bottom, but you have to start somewhere. Do you feel that within the personified skirt names of your products, when somebody sees it online, right, and may purchase it, or for a dance school or for a concert, for somebody who just wants to rise up from the bottom, there are many stories out there in which we can utilize for social, but also to share the story of why you started your line? Number one. Number two, do you feel like when they put on those skirts and those names are personified, that there's an evolution within your clientele base at the same time?
I definitely think so. I
How
definitely
so?
think. I think when someone puts on that skirt, they take on with who they truly are and who they want to be and where they want to go in life.
Hmm.
I really think when someone puts on the riser, they're going to wear it and they're going to feel like I could do anything.
When we started, again, almost 3 years ago, which is crazy how time flies.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, I'm honored to be working with you, but I remember those first meetings they weren't difficult. They were just trying to understand, I think, each other, where I came from professionally and where
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
where you wanted to go. What was your original thought when we first started working together? How did you see your brand when you started versus where we are now and working on all the platforms for
I
your
mean, I think we just built upon what we said we like I wanted and you gave me input on it and I think we've built upon it. And it's just, more and more out there of being a rock star, being rising from the bottom to the top,
Mhm.
rise up, rock on. Everybody starts from the bottom no matter what you do, no matter where, like what walk of life there's always the bottom. And from there we built upon it and then you rise up and you rock on. And I think that we just keep pushing that. We just keep pushing it. And I think that we knew early on that we wanted it to be a rise up, rock on. Those are our keywords. And we
Mhm.
just kind of kept building on it. And I think that with you, with how I saw the business and how you saw it, it is what it is. It came out like the way we wanted.
There were a lot of notes. There were a
Yeah.
lot of back and forth, a lot of coffees, a lot of dinner dates,
Yeah.
and there has to be synergy between a marketing professional and a business owner,
Yeah.
right? We have to meet in the middle, but also we have to compromise. And that's what I found out not
Yeah.
only with you, but with my past clients.
Yeah. Like
We have to
something.
come to the table.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you do. Like something now, like if someone presented me something and they're like, "Oh, this is for you," and I don't like it, like maybe 3 years ago I would have been like, "Well, maybe, maybe not," but now I would be like, "No, we're not doing
Contemplated
that.
that a little bit
We're
back then.
not doing that. We're not going to do that. We're going to, stick with something else." You have to, as me being the brand, really, I need to make sure that I don't like I stick to what I feel. I have to be
Mhm.
true about it.
While you're also building the thought leadership on your end
Yeah,
as the founder, but also as a thought leader while feeding the content ideas to me to bring it to fruition at the same time.
right.
You've been traveling a lot and you travel a lot. You go to Italy
I
in
try.
May, right? You are definitely a world traveler and you look fabulous in your skirts doing
I
so.
try.
Girl,
Thank
but
you.
what inspiration do you pull not only for social media while you're traveling, but also while you're looking at like a Milan or you're in Rome or you're traveling across Europe? What do you bring home with you for content and also ideas for your future products?
I always look at what everybody is wearing. And one thing that like especially traveling with my skirts and I thought about this and I was like, well, we can make fancy skirts with elastic bands and they're easy to roll up, put in a suitcase,
Mhm.
travel all over the world with them. So that's
Right.
something that I from traveling I definitely said, okay, we're gonna make them fancy, but we're gonna make them where you can travel with them.
Right.
And I went to a wedding in Italy with a fancy elastic band skirt that I rolled up and rolled back out. And it was a statement piece, and it was comfortable and it was perfect for the occasion. And I think just seeing what people wear, especially outside of the country, is interesting because a lot of them don't really put themselves completely together. They'll throw one piece on and then throw something else on top.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
think that's something I've learned, and it was like, okay, so we're gonna go with that one piece, that bottom that could be rolled up, put in a suitcase, and you travel with it. And you can wear it multiple times, different ways.
And style it different ways with jewelry,
Yeah,
tops, bottoms, shoes,
yeah,
stockings, whatever that.
everything, everything. Same skirt, like probably 10, 20 different ways.
What's your thought process when you're coming home and you have the pictures and you wore your skirts and you got feedback and an inspiration from Europe? right? A very cosmopolitan thought process while rocking on and rising up at the same time and then coming back to New Jersey. How do you formulate content when you're home? And how long does it take you to usually formulate that content?
Well, when I have a good photographer.
Number one, always
Yeah.
important. Take note. Okay.
Meaning anyone else. You're great. It's not you. It's everybody else. I'm like, can you take a picture? And they're like, well, I'm like, hold the camera straight. Anyway, usually I try to be realistic with my Instagram. Like, I don't want it to look too put together,
Mhm.
because the woman of rock bottom is on the run and she's doing a million things and she's busy. So when I put the content together, I don't want it to be like, oh, look at, she's posing. I want it to be like, it's the bottom and she's doing something. What is she doing?
Mhm. And she's on the run, but she's living her life.
Yeah. And she's doing what she wants to do.
You made a great point too in, kind of over stylizing content. That was a very pre-COVID thing for those that, and
Yeah.
that's because we talk about this all the time every week,
Yeah.
right? We have literally brainstorm, sessions every week, how we're going to formulate the next piece, work with the next influencer, which we'll get to in a moment, and who that is, what the future of your brand looks like. Also, the overproduced content, people don't look at that anymore. It has to be short and sweet. You have to tell a story, which you're doing, right? You had that in your mind from the beginning of a girl on the run, a rock star that went to a concert and is inspired. But you're growing the persona through your brand. See, so it all works. So I'm trying to get at. It all works together cohesively for the future, and it has to, but it has to evolve at the same time.
Exactly. Like, that's what I don't want it to be like, oh, look, I'm at a concert. Like, when I'm at a concert and I wear a skirt, it's the bottom. Like, oh, what concert is she at?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be like,
what's her persona, right? What are they going to work with?
Yeah, I don't want it to be so like planned and like, oh, she's posing in front of this, she's posing here.
No.
It's kind of like, oh, what's the rest of, like, okay, we only see the bottom. What else?
But also, what's her story? What's that intrigue?
Yes. What's her
What are you
story?
selling? What are you selling story-wise, right? If you were over stylized with your content, that would look impersonal, right? It
Yeah.
would look fake, and
Yeah.
that's what we were not doing with
I
building
don't
it from the beginning.
exactly. And if you look at our Instagram, it's not fake, it's real. It's not
No,
people like, it's real, and that's what I want. I want it to be real. I don't want to sell people like my brand's not a fake persona.
no.
It's a real persona. The person is you. You go out there, you live your life, you rock on. I don't want it to be fake, and I think that the Instagram is very real and the pictures are very real, and that's what I try to do. Take real pictures. Real pictures, the bottom. Yeah.
Our photo shoots, those are I mean, sometimes they're really cold in January, February, March, but we have the best time. But it's literally about storyboarding, right? We start with a questionnaire like we did years ago. That's ever evolving. Then we storyboard things out on a meeting before we even meet in person.
Yeah.
How are we going to wear your products? How are we, for instance, you also have offer sweatpants that are unisex, right? So we'll start with that.
Right. I mean, that's what we always plan out, like what we want to show. And we want to show that really, even though they're skirts, okay, in this case, the sweatpants, everything's comfortable. I call it like comfortable for your rise up. Because you know what? When you're rising up and when you're on a journey, nothing is easy. And
But
there's
you can
always bumps
also
along the way.
stylize, exactly. You
So
can
you're going to be
stylize with pants
comfortable.
too.
Yeah. So
You
you know
could go
what?
80s. Go ahead.
You're going to be comfortable. We're going to make sure, like, yeah, you're going to
Yeah.
look good in a skirt and everything, but you're going to be comfortable because it's uncomfortable on the way to the top.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
Even
it's
growing the
okay.
business, you
It's
start from
okay.
the bottom and then you're here.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
literally have to pull your skirt or sweatpants up and say,
Exactly.
"Let's burn it. This is my future."
Exactly.
want to change, but it's because of social media, because of guerrilla marketing, because of the press releases, because of even working 2-3 hours when we're out on a photo shoot together. That's all part of the story. You're building the persona and evolving that at the same time.
Yeah, every day there's nothing that I don't think about that doesn't revolve around my brand or where I'm going with my brand. That's the most important.
Even in your personal life?
Right
Hmm.
now, I just I want to grow my brand. I want it to get to a certain point. I want to go all the way with it.
My point being, with all of the inner workings of the processes, there has to be a streamlined process. We can't just dive into a marketing
No,
campaign
no,
and say, Deana, give me your skirts and I'm going to run on your social media and do whatever I want.
no.
That's how this works.
We always have a plan. We always have a plan. And maybe sometimes I'll be like, I'm not doing that. But we always have
Uh-huh.
a
Uh-huh.
plan.
I know
Do I
exactly where
do
you're going
that?
with that.
Do I do that? No.
No, no.
I'm pretty
I mean,
flexible.
for the intrigue of the show, a little outtake, but no. But that's also my job as a marketer to guide you as your publicist, guide you
Right.
as your educator, to
Right.
say, well, I hear you. Let's meet in the middle. Maybe let's try this. And I, put down an
Yes.
X on the runway,
We
or
do.
I
We
bring
do.
all of my content and I say, well, here's what I was thinking. How do you feel about this? And we meet in the middle on what will eventually
We
be produced
do.
and
We do
shared.
movement. Yes. We have to because like I know where my brand, where I want it to go and what I want, but you also know other like the marketing and you know what works and what doesn't. So we have to
Right.
meet in the middle.
We started off by utilizing all the platforms once upon a time. We did Facebook, we were doing LinkedIn, Twitter, as well as Instagram. Instagram wasn't really a thing with us working together at first because it really wasn't as popular as it is now. How do you feel about the evolution of kind of allowing purposely the other platforms to not fall by the wayside? Because you're still active on Facebook, you're still active on Twitter. We're working on LinkedIn, right? Especially now, our focus really evolved into working on reels and stories on Instagram and selling and sharing the story. How do you feel that evolution has bettered your brand all these years later?
I really think that is the way to go with it right now
Mhm.
and to move forward because it is so popular. And I think it gives you the chance to not only to show what your brand is, what your products are, but you can buy items right off of Instagram. You can buy anything that we post right off of Instagram,
Mhm.
where you can Facebook, but I just think Instagram's easier. And a lot of people today are like, Facebook, it's like, oh, it's still around. So I just think Instagram's going to get more and more, popular and bigger with shopping and retail.
And yeah, and even surpassing, and the metrics are coming in as both platforms are evolving. And of course, Instagram is still part of the Meta Business Suite owned by Facebook or conjoined with Facebook. Twitter is also kind of the Wild West that's evolving at the same time. But TikTok is the statistics that rolled in, because I have to literally be the marketing maven, read these stats every single day in order to learn, but also educate and produce the correct content for the correct client. But Instagram is definitely going to surpass, or is currently surpassing, TikTok in selling with the marketing because it's more organic.
It
You,
is.
you, you can tell the story. You can tell a longer form story, which is actually becoming more popular audience, so than TikTok. And
And you
TikTok is
can
still
tell a
currently in
story.
hot water.
Right. And you
Correct.
can tell a story about an item, and then someone's like, oh, okay, I want that.
And then you can
So,
go online, you can see the story, see the evolution of your brand, which has
yeah,
been going on for several years, and they can literally purchase at the drop of a dime
right. Yeah.
and rise up from that purchase on
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
tell their own story, which we encourage,
Exactly.
or which you encourage.
Yes.
Let's roll into influencer marketing. I know that your Instagram, you connected with Breonna Taylor. She is a musician that was on MTV, the Hollywood season. How are you feeling about that relationship, and where do you see the future of working with influencers to grow your brand?
Well, working with Brianna, she is definitely the image of rock bottom. She's a woman, she's a singer, she's, you know, just trying probably to, like everyone else, rise up and rock on. And she really just gives the brand, okay, this is rock bottomed. This
Hmm.
is it. This is, not only does she look amazing in the products, she is the brand. She is what, when you think of rock bottoms, you think of music, musician, and bottoms, and it is her. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more about her story, about her rise up story.
How do you feel that your brand has grown in the past, even because we started working with her a few weeks ago, has grown in this past few weeks?
Everybody that has like commented to me, even on Instagram, not even on Instagram, they were like, who is that? Who is she? Because they didn't know her first. And some people don't know her. It's fine.
Hmm. Right.
But they said, like, somebody came up to me and they're like, she is exactly what I picture for your brand. And
Wow.
she's like, I would definitely buy the skirt she was wearing. She describes everything about the skirt perfect. And she knows how to wear it. She knows how to rock it,
Hmm.
and I can't wait. I think it's gonna, just the further we go on with her, I think it's just gonna get better and better.
Would you like to work with other influencers in the future, or just stick with Brianna for the time
No,
being?
you know what? I think we need to have some versatility.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe a stay-at-home mom,
Uh-huh.
just somebody from a different background, but wants that, like, yeah, you know what? I'm a mom, but I'm a rock star. Just who has
Sure.
comes from another walk of life. I think it's great, but I don't want to just pick anyone.
No.
I think we need to stick with who suits the brand. And right
Hmm.
now, Brianna definitely suits the brand.
Right.
She is going out there saying, she's describing the skirts, which is what we need. Well, what needs to be done? The people need to hear, oh, okay, I can wash it. It's elastic. I can do whatever. I can wear different tops with it. I could wear sneakers. I can wear like pumps with it. I could wear boots.
Right.
So,
But the key with working with influencers too, especially that I've known, is they have to be human, which she is, and so is your brand, like we talked about. Your persona is human. You're human as the owner, as the mastermind behind this brand. But also, authenticity is very important in working with influencers at the same
yeah,
time.
she is authentic. She went out there like on the first time in like a bralette and a skirt, and she's like, this is what it is.
That's it. Here I am.
Yeah, and that's it. And she went out there and she's like, this is what this is, and this is, um, this is the brand. And she did it first time. I think she knocked it out of the park.
She knocked it out of the park.
I really
Very,
think so.
very interesting collaboration, but there's definitely a future in working with her as an influencer for your brand.
Oh,
Hands
definitely.
down. As we wrap up, what does the future of Rock Bottom look like for you? In person, but also on social media.
So in person, it's going to be a concept store one day soon. Not only like retail, but more of you coming in and you choosing what you want, kind of like you being the designer.
Hmm.
And we would, and using our styles, and then but giving you a little bit of a chance to be like, well, this is what I want to make it. This
Hmm.
is what my riser skirt's going to look like.
Right.
um so we're looking at a brick and mortar for it, and
Mhm.
it's definitely a New York City vibe brand. And pants, there's so much that we're going to do, from like
How can you-
I want to have elastic band fancy pants. It's at some point.
Yes, yes, you
So
will.
yeah.
How are you going to
So
utilize that for your content in the near future? Or
so we're definitely, the stores will definitely be a bottom up thing, because when this happens, we're gonna like just track. We're gonna actually like film the whole process from the
Right.
bottom to when it opens.
Mm-hmm. And
So
then I can get my claws into that with your
yeah,
direction, of course, and knock
it's
the hell out of that too with all the
yeah,
content.
yeah, we're gonna show from day one to however long it takes to open the store.
Yeah. And
And
then tell the story. Be
yeah,
human and be authentic at the same time. You
yeah,
have to.
yeah. And that's what we're gonna do. So we
Deana,
have a
we are no, go ahead.
long way to go. But it's
Uh,
okay.
but but that's part of your journey. That's part of your
Part of the
hero's journey.
journey. It's part
Part
of
of the
the rise up.
here in which we started is you started here. We're at the bottom, which is not always a negative, and you have to rise up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful message
Absolutely.
that carries out throughout your content
Mm-hmm.
on all the
Well,
platforms.
thank you. Thank you.
So for what this has been an inspiring conversation, not only for me. I know people listening want to know more. So if you can tell us where to find you online, your social handles, your website, and then that's another episode in the can.
Yeah. So Rock Bottom on Instagram's the best way to find us, but it's ROKBUTTOMED.
And how about your website?
Rockbottom.com.
Perfect. Deana, thank you so much for coming. You're an inspiration to the woman out there, to
Thank
me
you.
as a content creator, and I wish you all the
Thanks.
best. Thank you,
Thank
thank you,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, I'm Joe Federico, and you heard another episode of the Pride and Promotion Podcast. Go forth with pride, and we'll talk soon. Take care.
It's time for a Pride and Promotion Extra as we mosey on down to the Rapid Fire Ranch. Take a listen.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Rapid Fire Ranch, a subdivision of the Pride and Promotion Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Federico, and today on the ranch, we're welcoming Deana of Rock Bottoms. Deana, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy to have you on the Rapid Fire Ranch. We're getting a little saucy today, talking about marketing and a little different from the main show. But please introduce yourself to everybody out there in TV and radio land.
So I'm the founder of Rock Bottoms. It's a clothing line just for your bottom. It's only bottoms. So skirts and pants.
And that's it. And she's an
Mm.
amazing beacon to women and to the fashion world, just in general. So I'm happy to have her on.
Thank you.
So usually I do 5 questions. We're mixing up a little bit on the ranch today. Put your bolo tie on, your cowgirl hat, and your skirt. Hey, maybe there's a skirt in there for cowgirls in the future that want to, rise
Maybe.
up and rock on. So here's the question for you. You ready for
Okay.
this?
Yes.
In speaking with somebody, one of my clients, a travel advisor, it's all over my Instagram. Everyone's weighing in. Influencers from Morristown are sending me direct messages, and I'm really honored. But this is an important question for you that's also a content creator, of your brand. When creating content, let's say a long form article or a longer video for social media, any platform, would you prefer to create a piece of content that is watered down to reach the masses, or that is catered to more of your clientele base and the elite that may miss some of your future clientele in the future?
I think for me, it would be for the masses and not watered down.
Okay.
Because I feel as a person, I'm not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just feel like I think with anything, everything is not for every single person out there. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want my content to be watered down to go to masses and then they'll be like, oh, okay. I'd rather it hit the people that, okay, oh, wow, okay, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And, that, start a fire, then
Sure.
have watered down content.
So you'd
Definitely.
prefer to start those conversations with the people that you feel that are your clientele base that can
Yes,
hang on to the conversation and spread the
absolutely.
word almost like scripture, then going forward to produce more clientele.
Yeah, I would, because my brand is not for everyone. Not everyone likes skirts. Every brand is for a different clientele.
Hmm.
And I heard someone say recently, with clothing brands, a clothing brand is not for everyone.
Right.
It's for a certain, your specific clothing brand is for a specific group of people.
Right.
So I would rather hit that group of people than just water it down and like grandma get it and she's like, I don't wear skirts. I don't like this.
This is not for grandma, right, or whoever.
Right. Yeah, so
Hmm.
I would rather hit a targeted like group and then let it spread.
Uh-huh. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's what I would do. I
Amazing
definitely would
answer.
rather.
Amazing answer. Thanks so much for your time. That
Thank
wasn't
you.
so bad, was it? On the ranch? That wasn't so bad. Deana, thank you so much for coming. Tell everybody where we can find you on your socials as well as your website.
So you can find us on rockbottom.com or on
Awesome.
Instagram, rockbottoms. It's ROKBUTTOMED.
Amazing. Deana, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Certainly appreciate you and your style. And it should be for everybody because they're going to, rise up and rock on. So thank you so much
Yes.
for coming on
Thank you.
to the show, everybody. That was another episode, a sub episode of the Rapid Fire Ranch, hosted by.
And just like that, we're putting the finishing touches on another fabulous episode of the Pride and Promotion podcast. If today's conversation struck a chord, why not sing our praises with a quick rating and review on your podcast platform of choice? Your support is the spotlight that helps us shine and bring more folks into our ever-expanding audience. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Let's get social too. Follow us online for all the extra goodies, sneak peeks, and continued dialogue about marketing with pride and purpose. Tune in next time as we unfurl more colorful stories, champion the cause of inclusivity, and learn more from the creme de la creme of the industry. Until our paths cross again, keep pushing boundaries, stay true to yourself, and infuse every project with pride.